Good morning, colleagues. It's just me today. The first tip that we're going to look at is for our primary colleagues. And we're going to look at something, it's actually, I've built it using Power Automate. And Power Automate is a nice little feature within the Office 365 suite. If I go into New tab here and click on the waffle, you can see I've got Power Automate. And Power Automate just allows you to actually create lots and lots of different things with certain triggers. And one of the triggers that I've created is when the primary daily notice is published, it's going to send you an email. And hopefully today, that will work a little bit later on after me publishing this video. So you should see at some point today an email, and it will look like it's coming from me, but it's actually coming from Power Automate. And it will say, "Dear colleagues, please click on this link to read today's primary notice." And you click on it and it will take you to the primary notice. So fingers crossed that works for the primary colleagues. Now, the rest of this video is going to be for secondary colleagues, and we're going to look at house points and applying house points, my sort of like top tips to send house points to students, the most efficient sort of way to be able to do it. So if I just minimize this and say goodbye to our primary colleagues, unless you're interested, of course, in just how secondary works in terms of adding house points. But this is how we do it. We go into iSAMS, and you can see here on iSAMS, in the wizard bar here, I've got house points right at the top. Now you can put them at the top because you can drag these things that you use on a regular basis. And if you are sending house points on a regular basis or taking the register on a regular basis, then move these things to the best area for you to click on them. So when I click on secondary house points, you can see here, this is the standard process of doing a house point. You've got two options. You've got add one by one, or you can add multiple. So let's just go one by one first to move myself out of the way. Now, when I'm doing this, it's good to have access to your keyboard, obviously, because you're going to select a student. And as you're typing the name, it will filter out, and you can double click on this or click on it, and it will give you the record date or record date, and then you can start to choose. Now, there's a lot of things in here because these are all of the different subjects and all of the ECAs. But what you'll find is as you click onto here, if I start typing ICT, it will take me down to ICT, that's primary. If I just keep on pressing I for ICT, you can see I can get to those things. Or if I start typing computing, it will take me to computing. So use your keyboard to filter quickly. Then you can choose the category and start typing, and then you get next step. And that will send an email to the student, it will send a copy to you, and it will send emails to the parents as well and the tutor. If I just go back and go to the multiple emails, and this one's quite interesting, not multiple emails, multiple house points, I can click on this and then go to next step. And I can now start to select. Now, what I tend to do is I click on set and then just go next step, and I get this error message pop up. But actually, it allows me then to filter out all of the sets that I teach. So now you can see I'm a tutor for 7T, but if I had multiple classes, that would be just my classes there. It's just a fast way for you to be able to get to them. So if I click on this, it sometimes takes a little bit of time to go and find the students, especially if you're at home. It's a bit faster when you're at school, and the students appear in a list. Here we go. And I can now start to add house points to these students one by one if I want to. But if you want to add the whole class, you put a 1 there and it will automatically put them in there. Choose the category and it will say, okay, yeah, and change all of this. And again, using my keyboard. So maybe if I'm teaching them computing for ICT in secondary, then I'd click on this, click OK, and then start typing what I want. And then I click next and bingo, it all goes. Okay, now that's using iSAMS online. You can actually use the iTeacher app, and I've got the iTeacher app open somewhere. Let me just type in my air server to go back to my air server again. Here it is. So I'm going to search for the iTeacher app. I've got it installed on my phone, and it's got a connection error, but it should be okay. I'm going to click Wizards and then Secondary House Point. You can see it there. Now, down here, if I move my mouse down here, you can do single or multiple. So if I wanted to send that to multiple students, I'm going to click multiple, see what it looks like. And there is my sets. I can search by surname or I can search for my sets, but I can search for my teaching groups. And I've got my tutorial there. So I've got my 21 students, and I can then start ticking these students as to which ones I want to actually give a house point to. And you've got category again, so I'm going to contribution to school life. I'm going to choose my subject, and away we go. So that's just an alternative way to be able to do it if you are sort of like on the move when it comes to sending house points using, I'm just going to go back actually to the single one, secondary house points for single, secondary house points, just to show you what it looks like from a single perspective. I'm going to choose Austin, and I can type away what my house point, the reason why I'm giving a particular house point, and choose my subject. And once I've gone through those things, then up here where it says add, it will send them a house point. So just another way of being able to send a house point.